Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video. And it's been a while, but we are here for F1 Esports Challenges. This is event number 4 of 5, and we are here in Monza for round number 7. So, if you don't know how F1 Esports Challenges works, there are 5 events, each with 2 races. The first race is a short qualifying session, 18 minutes long, followed by a 25% race, and that is quickly followed up with another race, which is a one-shot qualifying, and then another 25% race. So yeah, this is round number 7. Round 8 will be coming after this. Round 8 is in Japan, but yeah, Monza first. I'll put the championship standings up on the screen from before this race happened. As you can see, yeah, we're in P4. Not brilliant. If you've not been watching or following the series, we had the unfortunate DNF in China and Austria, and then getting held in the pits in Vietnam. It's just not been a very good season from myself. But yeah, still 4 more races, 2 events left to go to make up the ground that we've lost, and you never know, we may even get back into the championship fight. We just need Alessio to have a little bit of bad luck. But yeah, coming into this one, the pace was good. I was feeling confident, so I thought we'd definitely be fighting up the top for both race wins. But yeah, of course, there is lots of competition, especially Alessio, Capua, Ate, Nicholas Matteo, Sipos, all them rapid guys. So yeah, getting straight into it then. On our first qualifying lap, this track, Monza, not a good one, especially for the confidence, because you have to corner cut the chicanes, and you have to just get it perfect, really, if you want a good lap. So, yeah, everyone's a bit nervous, they're a bit worried about invalidating their runs. But, yeah, we come across the line to do our first run, and it is a 1:17.497, which is actually quite a decent banker, considering the nerves and, you know, all that stuff. So, yeah, Alessio P2, I believe he's on a 6.22, I believe, 17.622. So, yeah, we have a decent gap so far, but of course, everyone is going to be looking to improve, myself included. But it's good to take a little bit of stress off your shoulders and that pressure with a good banker. So now you can push a little bit harder without having the worry of starting, you know, last or something, because you haven't done a good lap yet. So, yeah, coming on to our second run then. We should be able to get 4 as long as we get a move on. And yeah, finishing our second lap, we went red in both 2 sectors, but we get a good final sector. And as you can see, we improved by about half a tenth to a low 0.4. As I say, there is awful. Sector 1 and Sector 2 was extremely poor. We just had a very decent final sector. So there's definitely still lots of time to gain.
Your 1 and 2 on your previous start was really good.
Yeah.
Definitely got time. Well, you did have time on the exit of Della Roger. You had a really good exit out of there that time.
So the engineer telling me where I can improve there. But yeah, in my PB going into this, online at least, was a very low 17. So I was expecting to do maybe a 0.1, 0.2. So yeah, right now, not very good being on a 0.4, but we still have 2 more runs to improve. So yeah, moving on to our third run. We'll go on board for a full lap because I believe this was my fastest lap. And I'll explain why shortly. But yeah, coming into turn 1. You want to be braking just before the 100-meter board, down to third gear. Take as much curb as you can through turn 1 and 2. That's how you gain the most time. If you don't, you will end up losing a tenth or even more. But as I say there, we can't nail turn 1 and 2. We've taken it quite cautious, and that's led to a fairly poor first sector. We've barely improved, but coming into the chicane, braking just at the 100-meter board, down to fourth gear. Cut this as much as you can. Once again, if you don't cut them 2 corners, you're going to lose a lot of time. Coming into Lesmo 1, just after the 50-meter board, as close to that inside curb as possible. Use all that exit curb into Lesmo 2, just before the 50, down to 5th gear. Rotate the car, try and slide it as much as possible through the corner and get the power down. Use all the exit curb as well. And end in Sector 2, not too bad so far. But coming into Sector 3, just after the board on the right, flying through Ascari in 6th gear, cut as much as you can. And carry as much speed as you possibly can through there. And as you can see, over a tenth up now. So it's looking to be a pretty decent lap, and only 1 more corner to go into Parabolica. Just after the 50-meter board, brake hard, down to 5th gear. As close to that inside curb as possible, but don't hit it, and then let the car run out wide. Use AstroTurf if you need to. And all the way over to the right, towards the line to minimize the distance, and we do a 17.292, which is quite a decent lap for the third run in the session, but I definitely don't think that'll be enough for
Good
pole.
job, mate.
Not sure if I'll have time for another one. As I say there, not sure if I'll have time for another one. Only 3 minutes 38 seconds left in the session.
Yeah, a bit close.
I had to finish that lap. I was over a tenth up. Yeah. So I could have decided to come into the pits and go out for my last run, maximum track evolution. But if I'm that far up, you never know what could happen on my final run. So we just finished it, and now going on to our final run. As you can see, we do make it with quite a few seconds to spare. But yeah, we've not took the risk on slowing down, and we've ended up quite close to Nicholas Matteo ahead. But it doesn't matter, because coming into turn 1, we invalidate anyway. So that's our session over. We're still in P1 for now, but we still have Nicholas Matteo and Alessio Di Capua on a lap. And as we reach the end of the session, Alessio's up.
How much?
So we're going to be starting P2 for the Italian Grand Prix.
I'll be back in 2 seconds, boys.
Very close to Alessio.
You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be.
And something to note is that Alessio had an extremely fast Sector 1. I believe he did a .657, I believe it was, compared to my first sector, which was a 788, I think that is. So, yeah, much faster in the first sector for Alessio. And that could be down to straight line speed, so that's important to note if he has lots of straight line speed. But, yeah, going into the race then, jumping straight into it, no formation lap on this one. As the lights come on for round number 7 of the F1 Esports Challenger Series. The lights are out, and as you can see, the Haas of Ate flies into the lead, and that is a drive-through for him. But coming into turn 1, we break a little bit later than Alessio. Ate blocks Alessio, and we actually managed to get through. So we're into the net lead with Ate's drive-through. And, yeah, a bit messy. I think Alessio tried to avoid going into the back of Ate, which sent him a bit left, and I was able to just sneak through. But, yeah, now with Ate's penalty, he's going to push, use all his battery. And, yeah, we was thinking about trying to stay with him. But we're just going to end up draining our battery, and he's only going to have to pit soon anyway. So, yeah, we're going to start draining our battery to try and stay with him. But later on, as I asked there, we later on decide to just leave him go. But, yeah, now we're into the net lead. And we have to be thinking about not getting penalties. Pretty easy to do it at Monza. And, yeah, thinking about the strategy. What lap to pit if we don't want to get held in the pits. Because as you all know, that's quite a big thing on this game. Getting held in the pits. It can really throw your race into the bin. As it did to my race in Vietnam. So, yeah, coming onto lap 2 then for the first time. And as you can see, Alessio's already draining his battery to get past me. Yeah, he just wanted that track position. I think he wanted to stay within the DRS of Ate. But he had the drive-through anyway. He really wasn't a part of this race, really. But, yeah. Now we're just going to stick in his... As we say, as my engineer says there, he's got about 50%. We have about 70%, so we have a bit more this stage. We have to use some of it anyway before the pit stops, so we can actually regain, you know, not waste unused battery, because we're going to gain some back in the pits anyway. But yeah, thinking about the pit stops, you want to be looking at around laps 5 to 6, 4 if you're going for an undercut. I think 6 is the latest you can pit, and then after that the tyres start to drop off heavily, and you risk being undercutted by quite a few people. So yeah, we're either going to go 5 or 6. And considering we don't want to be held, we'd probably go a lap later than everyone else. So, yeah. Now we're just sticking within the DRS, trying to conserve as much ERS as possible. And maybe even go for a move before the pit stops. Or we can just continue to save and go for the move later on in the race. So skipping all the way onto lap 5 then. Nicholas Matteo, who was in P3 and in the train, so right behind us, actually pit. So we have to be wary for an undercut. And maybe we should have covered him off this lap, or we could cover him off this lap to make sure he doesn't get the undercut on us. But yeah, we don't want to get held. There's quite a few people yet to pit. And as you can see, Alessio comes into the pits. We're going to go one more lap. As I said, you want to go lap 6 latest. But we're going to drain our battery to make sure that we don't get undercut. Being held in this game, huh? As I say there, we'll do anything to avoid being held. So, yeah, on our in lap then, we're going to use our battery. We're going to drive as fast as we possibly can. No mistakes. Otherwise, we could come out in the middle of this train. So, it's an extremely crucial lap. Everyone come in that lap as well, so. As you can see, Jan Fehler is behind us, yet to pit as well. And I thought we were completely safe. At this time, I was focusing more on the driving and less on who was behind me. So I thought, you know, we may be going a lap later, but I have decent pace and we're not going to get held at all, 100%. There's no possible chance. But yeah, as we come into the pits, we get the car slowed down. And I think this is where I realise I'm just going to leave this play out.
Matteo come out right behind Alessio, like 5 tenths behind.
I didn't see Jan Fehler. Complete silence. I realised that we did actually get held by Jan Fehler, and that's going to be crucial because flying down the main straight is going to be Nicholas Matteo and Alessio Di Capua. And as you can see, they're right there. We're going to use all our ERS to try and stay ahead. But coming into turn 1, we're a little bit too far behind. So we have to slot into P2. Alessio goes a bit deeper there, but we can't get the move done. He actually goes too slow through turn 2, which opens the door for Nicholas Matteo. But yeah, we use a little bit more of our battery to stay ahead of him. But I was actually surprised that despite being held by Jan Fehler a few tenths, we came out pretty much exactly where we were. So that makes me think if we didn't get held at all, we might have been out ahead of Alessio, which we would have got a 1-lap overcut and then a 2-lap overcut on Matteo. So yeah, my in-lap was definitely really good. And obviously probably aided by the fact we used a lot of battery, maybe more than Nicholas and Alessio. As I say there, not sure I didn't lose that much time despite being held. But yeah, now we have 1 lap fresher tyres. It's about saving the battery and then making our move either on the penultimate lap and then try and build that gap in that lap so that Alessio can't mount a challenge on the final lap, or we just play a little bit more risky and go for the move on the final lap. But yeah, as we'll see now, Alessio seemed very fast on the straight. So we're using all our battery, we're in the slipstream, we have DRS, and yeah, look at this. Wow, he has a lot of straight line speed. I thought that was crazy. It felt like he was on extremely low wings. And if you remember that Sector 1, which is mainly about straight line speed, he did a mid 0.6. So that is indicating to me that he has extremely good straight line speed, but he's not as fast through the corners. And that showed in his quali lap as well, where his first sector was much quicker than mine, but I think middle and last were a bit slower. So that's a problem, because as you've seen there, I did everything I could, and we didn't even get alongside. And now, going on to this final lap, what we have to do is use some ERS to get close through Parabolica and just hope for the best. We still have a lot of our battery left, but what's even crazier is as we go on to the final lap of the race, Alessio actually starts to run out of battery. He goes below 10%. We still have a lot to play with, and we have DRS open, slipstream. As you can see, his lights flashing, so we should be gaining loads of time. But as you can see, we're not even gaining that much at all, and we don't even end up side by side going into turn 1. Now, I was running 2.6 wings for this race, and as you can see, we have ERS on again. He starts his light flashing, and we're not. I just thought that was crazy. If I was to guess, I would say he was running, honestly, 1.5 wings, because, well, we should be gaining more than this. If he had battery left and he was deploying all that while going down the straight, I could maybe understand, but the fact that he was flashing red while I was still at full deployment of my battery, I should have rocketed past him, but I didn't. So yeah, the low downforce worked very well for Alessio, but we still have a chance. As you can see, his light is still flashing, where we are way over 10%, so this is our final chance. No DRS this time, but we're still gaining quite a bit, and we're going to have one more chance into Parabolica. We go to the outside. Alessio defends the inside, but we're not quite enough alongside once again. And yeah, coming out of the final corner, it's not going to work. And we're going to come home in P2 for the F1 Esports Challengers Italian GP.
Great job, Josh. Just that little hold. I think it was about 0.3 of a second it cost us. That's the difference between beating him to turn 1 or not, honestly.
So P2 then, Alessio Di Capo wins the race. I believe that's his third win of the season. Nicholas Matteo, who is P2 in the championship, finishes in P3. Crucially, Patrick and Ate were both high up in the championship. They did not have good races. So yeah, we'll gain a lot on them. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, then a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.